Well, hi everybody. This is Mike Winters here with the Power Life. I'm going to talk to you about how you can get the power of God in your life to help you out. And I want to talk to you today about this little item here, a fork. It's a fork. A long time ago, there was a baseball player named Yogi Berra. He was known for his pithy quotes and statements. And one of the things that Yogi used to say sometimes is, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Really? I guess we need some explanation, and we'll get that when we get right back after this.
This is Power Life with pastor and evangelist Mike Winters, bringing you the message of God's love, peace, and power in God's anointed word and music to encourage your heart. Now take the next few moments with us and find in Jesus the Power Life.
Well, we're back. We're going to talk to you today about the Power Life, friends. You know, we mentioned when we started out here a minute ago, you know what this is? It's a fork. I'm not very good with chopsticks, so I've got a fork here. Yogi Berra, the baseball player, we mentioned that one time, that he says, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. And that's kind of funny or silly, because you got to say, well, when you come to a fork in the road, you got to take one way or the other. You can't just take the fork. And sometimes in life, people have trouble making up their minds and deciding what they're going to do with life. And somebody else has also said about the fork, stick a fork in it, it's done. In other words, when it's time to decide if you've done enough, if you've gone far enough, take the measurement on that. But I'm pretty good at the fork. I'm too good at it. But we're going to put this down. But I'll tell you something. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. How do we make decisions of what we do in life? You come up to different decision points in life, and there are choices and options that you have. Maybe you're looking for a different job, or maybe you're trying to decide on whether you want to date somebody or not, and maybe think about heading toward marriage. And maybe you're trying to figure out what church you want to go to, anything like that. And so what do you use when you're trying to make your decisions in life? What kind of information, what kind of input, what kind of logic do you use when you're trying to make your decisions in life? Well, it's good to be informed. It's good to have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. You got to say, what about this? What about that? I've heard people say that when they go to make a decision in life, they'll take that sheet of paper, draw a line right down the middle, and put the pros and cons on each side. If I do this, what are the pros and what are the cons? If I choose the other choice, what are the pros and what are the cons? And they kind of weigh it all out to make a decision. But a lot of times people will just make the decisions off of gut feelings, intuition, I guess you'd say. But when you come to the fork in the road, you got to know which way to go on the fork in the road. And I think having good wisdom, good sense, and I'm a student of the Bible. I believe in the Bible. I believe God gave us the Word of God. So I use it, basically for a lot of reasons. It builds up your faith and helps you to walk a straight line in life. But I also use it to get some coaching on how to live my life, how to make decisions, how to have relationships with people, and how to have certain values that I think will last me and get through the ups and downs in life. And sometimes you'll have options that'll come your way, and sometimes we don't think about it before we make a decision. And some people, though, they think about it forever and can never make a decision. So I think the deal is you just got to find out what source of wisdom, what's the source of truth and philosophy and all that you want to rely upon. Sometimes we call my friends, and if I have 5 friends that think I ought to do this and one friend that says I ought to do the other, I go with my 5 friends. So in other words, trying to let people vote on my choices. And sometimes it's all right. The Bible says that in a multitude of counselors there's safety. In other words, if you expand your perspective beyond what you just think and know and get some other input, sometimes that's a good thing. But sometimes you got to think about, well, that person that I'm asking them their opinion on this, what is their background? What's their philosophy in life? What are their values? And do I really want to listen to their counsel, their guidance, their wisdom? Because the Bible also says, blessed the man that does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. So in other words, you can get good advice, you can get bad advice. And so I think the thing is maybe we should understand that we need to have a certain moral position that there's certain things I won't do in life. I won't steal. I won't cheat. I won't cheat on my wife. I won't, do things to excess that would make me unable to function in life. And I won't break my promises and covenants with people. I'll try to be honest about things, try to work hard. Diligence and an attitude that I'm going to do my best every time. Sometimes people get into situations where they are only half-hearted, and they do kind of put a half-hearted effort into things. Well, if that's what you do in your job, you're probably going to be looking for another job if the boss pays any attention. But as far as doing things half-hearted, the Bible tells us, do everything you have with all your heart for Him. And so, in other words, a full dedication to doing the right thing, the best thing, the good thing, for the sake of how it benefits other people and sake of how it reflects upon the Lord. And so, I want you to know that you can have the power life in this life. You can win. You can be strong. You can be on top of things. And you can choose the right way to go. I don't know about you, but in my life, I've made some decisions where I had to look back and say, well, that wasn't the right way to go. And sometimes it's not too late. Maybe your bad decision doesn't have too many terrible consequences, and you just pick up and go the other way when you're done. But sometimes our bad decisions can lead to weeks, months, years of regret. And we don't want to do that. And I'm not trying to make you fearful or paranoid about life, but I'm just saying, if you get some good counsel, good wisdom from people you can rely on, and people that I like to talk to people that know how to read the Bible and pray. Because when they do that, then I think maybe their source of wisdom and understanding and guidance and their set of values come from a place that I can trust. And that's kind of what I like to do. Now, some of you watching here may not be, big Bible students or churchgoers or anything. I know, but there's been a lot of people in this life who have made some great decisions, have achieved great things in life, maybe not necessarily being really religious about it. But so I understand that, but I also know that in the end, the values that last and the trajectory in life that will get you to the greatest place of victory are the ones that are based on some kind of good sense. And I'd say that if God wrote a book, and I believe that's what happened with the Bible, if God wrote a book, then that's the greatest sense, the greatest intelligence, and the greatest wisdom, and I can count on that. Well, friends, I know that you might be, let's just say right now, you're getting ready to decide on whether or not to quit your job and go get another one. Or let's just say you've got a couple of jobs to pick from. Or let's just say you have maybe somebody that you're dating, and you're kind of seeing some red flags, but you're not sure if you want to break it up. And you just got to use good sense. Come to that fork in the road and take the correct turn on that fork in the road. You got to make that decision. You got to be a decision maker. You got to be decisive. But you got to be decisive in a way that makes sense for you and your future. And I know this, as a family man, I always got to try to do what's best for my family, my wife, kids, and everything. And as a leader at a church, I'm going to try to always do what's best for the people that I'm guiding and leading and so forth. But your life, you can be a leader. You can achieve things. You can do great things in life. You can. Yes, you can. Take that gift that's on the inside of you. I write songs and sing and all that stuff, and I put together messages, and I put together these videos and other things like this. But you have to decide, who am I? Who am I? What are my values? What is the message I want to come forth from my life to the world, to my friends, to my neighbors, to my family, to other people? If I go online, get on Facebook or something like this, or YouTube, what is the message I want to convey out of my heart that I think could help bless people? Because I want you to have a good life. I want you to be blessed. I want you to have joy. I want you to have happiness. I want you to make good decisions and live that path of victory and happiness and blessing and all those good things. And my thought is, the best way for me to do that, personally for myself, is to be a student of the Bible, get to know what God thinks and says about things, and follow that. That I want to just say, I care about you. I'm going about to end this here in just a minute, but I say, God can take care of you, and choose the right way. There's a verse in the Bible that says, choose you this day whom you will serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. choose which fork on the road you're going to take. I needed a two-fork road bit, but choose which fork on the road you're going to take. The one that's toward God and toward blessing and the wisdom of God, or the fork in the direction of life that's away from God, and maybe trying to get out there and do it all on your own without any help from the big brain and the big heart that's up there in heaven. So God cares about you. I'm Mike Winters, and tell your friends about this channel. Share this with others. Put a like on it for me if you don't mind. And you just have a great day. This is Mike Winters telling you, when it's time to come to the fork of the road and take it, take the right one. Use the wisdom and the intelligence and the direction and the good counsel you can get from good sources, and make the best decision for your life. God will help you if you ask Him. All right. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.